Welcome to Shots from the Foul Line podcast, a metaphorical nod to both the game of basketball and the unpredictable nature of life. Join your hosts Vic and Dustin as they dive into their unique experiences, ideas, and philosophies while discussing a range of sports topics and storylines. Shots from the Foul Line reflects their journeys of taking life shots, one conversation at a time.
All right, Vic, how's it going today?
Man, it's great. Finally glad that we finally get a chance to put this thing together. We've been talking about it for a little while, so.
I know, super excited. We figured out our schedules. We're putting the technology together. We're here to record. Super excited. So obviously, Shots from the Foul Line, it is obviously basketball related in the phrase we use for our title. So I'm going to make it easy on us and our listeners. The very first episode, we are going to talk about basketball. But before we go there, I do want to preface this by saying we're going to dive a little bit into politics first. The hush falls over the crowd. Okay, so pretty interesting, right? We had a very interesting presidential election last month and a half ago. We're about to have a new president in office. And, you know, you and I are fairly older. We've been around for several elections, and this is one that I can remember more than any other, where it was literally, there was a line drawn in the sand, and you were either 10 steps to the right or 10 steps to the left, right? There's literally no middle ground at all. And I'm going to say the exact same situation in basketball. And you might know where I'm going here. And it is funny because you're rocking your Ohio State Buckeye stuff, which I love. But here it is. Who is the GOAT in basketball? Now, think about that. Ponder it. See if you have to even think about this for a minute. But it is literally, to me, one of those questions where people are literally nowhere near the middle. There is no middle ground on this debate. And it's hysterical because nobody ever budges either. So if I have to pass it over to you, just talk about the two people that are debated the most.
Michael Jordan and LeBron James.
Awesome. So now let's hear who your GOAT is.
My GOAT is, in fact, it's Michael Jordan. I mean, the man was unstoppable, unguardable. I mean, you may think you got him, but you don't.
So I love the fact that you still went with Jordan. Obviously, he's my pick too. I've got an 18-year-old who is a LeBron fan. And it's one of those questions that I feel like it comes up a lot more now that LeBron's breaking all these records. He's been in the league forever. He's got obviously the most points, and he's going to probably finish. I mean, he thinks he can go for another 10 years. No way he's going to. I don't think he wants to stay out there with his hair receding every season. He doesn't want to look like Jordan out there. He doesn't want to be bald. But, he could easily go down breaking all kinds of records, right? So, you talked about Jordan's mentality, how he handled the game, how he handled his opponents. Do you think that within this debate, where within this debate do you think stats come? Stats, awards, rings, all those things. Like, do you think it's more about those things or the intangibles of what we saw on the court?
I think it's on the court because, number one, you want to do everything you can to make your teammates better. Obviously, Michael Jordan was the greatest player to put on a pair of sneakers. So while he's doing his thing, he's dishing it off to his teammates, and Michael Jordan was all about winning. So what he wants to do is make his team better and make sure that he gets them involved because he can always get his at any time.
So I love that you say, obviously, he's the best that ever laced it up. If it was that simple, it would be great because that's how I see it, of course. And it's funny because growing up, we didn't have cable or anything, but we got WGN, which is hysterical, and I was able to become a huge Bulls fan growing up as a kid. And watching what he did on that court was like magic, right? Mm-hmm. It was just something else. And, then comes along LeBron. And now, I will never debate that LeBron is the most athletic, gifted, size-wise, just overall presence in the NBA, right? Although the new kid in San Antonio, give him 15 years and see what this kid can do. But, yeah, LeBron's just a beast, right? He came out of high school like a grown man, just tearing it up. So from a physical standpoint, I don't disagree with that. But, you look at his mentality. Did Jordan ever give up on his team?
Of course not. I I mean, LeBron you get a fingernail and he can't play or something like. But see, thing of it is, I got a chance to see Michael against the Cavaliers. So I'm saying, not just pictures. I actually got a chance to see him play. So I know the Jordan effect. Now, as far as LeBron goes, I'm from Ohio, so I knew LeBron before a lot of people knew who LeBron James was. So I mean, you can say GOAT, but think about it, LeBron has played a whole lot longer than Michael, and different positions.
Not just different positions. The game now is so soft. And it's funny because everybody who played against Jordan, they're like, oh, he could put up 60 points easily every night in this league because it is so soft.
Right.
Which, to your point, obviously technology has changed. I know LeBron's been known to spend like $2 million a year just on his body, right? So the ability to rehab and the therapy and all those things is different than the 80s and 90s as well. But he's also not taking the hits. I mean, you watch a Knicks game from the 90s.
Oh yeah, they would put them in jail for assault and battery today, man. I mean, you think about a lot of guys today, they couldn't play back then because they would be hurt. I mean, you think about it. Look what they did to Jordan. Look what they did to Pippen. Remember, Pippen used to drive when they played. They used to beat him up. I mean, when you drive into the lane and you peeking inside.
I mean, these forearms came straight at your chest, if not your head.
Right.
Yeah, those were brutal games to watch. I mean, it's fun to watch as a fan. It's really fun to watch now just because like that kind of game doesn't really exist anymore. It's kind of like the NFL too, right? Like everything's changed. Like
right.
Safety of players, you know, all those things. It's just evolved into a different game than we know it. But so let's talk about numbers. So there's LeBron's fans out there who think he's the GOAT because of specific accolades, I guess you could say. I'll challenge you this. Can you think of one award that LeBron has never won that Jordan has? Defensive Player of the Year.
Well, okay. Does you want to dive that
Yeah,
way?
let's dive into this.
Defense is like LeBron doesn't play defense all the time. I mean, today is like, you know what, I'm going to play. But the thing about the basketball today is too many players, they whine too much. Too busy crying to the referees. I'm like this. Play your game, your team down the court, and you stand there whining about because you didn't get a foul 2 plays ago. And your team, by the time they're still scoring, you still whining about that. So, I mean, like, you know, Charles Barkley even said it. The players today, they're too soft. You know, they want to hug and, you know, all that. Nah, come on, bro.
No, I totally agree with you. And now here's the thing I'll throw out there because I do think a part of this debate is generational. Like I said, my 18-year-old, he's adamant that LeBron's the GOAT, and even though he can't actually defend his statements with
right.
much, you know, I think we can easily look at Jordan's mentality. I mean, the flu game says it all, right? You got LeBron literally sitting on his ass while his team's still playing. Like, quitting on his team is
right.
insane.
But check this out, though. Jordan was never afraid to take the last shot.
Oh, that's the other thing, too. Just this mentality of if you are the GOAT, which is funny because Jordan's never claimed to be the GOAT, but LeBron has, which is a whole different thing to me. Like, that's not for you to judge, right? Like, you go out there, you put up your numbers, you do your thing. You let the fans, former players, however you want to look at it, they're the ones that are going to dictate really who the GOAT is. But for him to come out and say that, too, to me says a whole lot.
Right.
And then to quit on your team and then not take the shots when they count. And you have to, right?
But you can also throw somebody else who had a killer instinct.
Kobe.
Kobe would never.
So that's the thing, right? So I know some people throw Kobe out there. I think, yeah, obviously if Jordan didn't exist, even though actually technically if Jordan didn't exist, Kobe wouldn't exist, right? Because he literally emulated Jordan's mentality, his work ethic, all those things. Yeah, Kobe is definitely up there in terms of, you know, top 5 players of all time. But if you look at those older generations, somebody might look at Bill Russell. Like, hey, look at all these rings he's got. They think they got like 11 or 12, right? Like
11.
11.
Now, I mean, you can say in hindsight that he's got more rings than anybody will ever get.
Yeah. Oh, there's no way anybody will ever come close to that, right?
Right.
But then again, you have to go generational because that game was completely different. I mean, half the people he played against were probably like 6'1". He's playing a bunch of like short white guys.
Yeah, but also is they don't. Back then, they didn't play as many games as they play now.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it, you play preseason, then you play in-season tournament, which those games don't even count.
Right.
Then you got the regular season, you got the postseason. So the players today, they do play a lot more games, which they can get their stats up a lot higher. But you think about something. They didn't give Oscar Robinson credit until about 5 or 6 years ago. This guy averaged a triple-double for his career.
Insane. Yeah. It's insane. But that's why I bring up that generational thing, because it is interesting how everybody's – I mean, even if you look at the Gen X versus, Gen Z and all those things, the millennials, everybody's generation is the best, according to them.
Right.
The last generation failed us, and we're the ones that are somehow the best, which is hysterical. But I just love this debate because it'll go on forever, and I think even more so as LeBron continues to play, continues to put up some ridiculous stats over the course of his career. But one guy I think that could play in any year that the NBA has existed, Steph Curry. I think his game translates across any of them simply for the fact that he moves so well without the ball, and his shooting is just unbelievable.
But I'm gonna tell you who I think could have played in any era too. LeBron, because his body.
Oh, his size.
Yeah, his size.
Well, yeah, if you put him in Bill Russell's decades,
he'd bully.
Yeah. I mean, if he had the mentality to. If he wasn't afraid to.
Right.
Yeah, for sure. Again, LeBron's just his athleticism, his size, all those things.
And his speed.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, he's one of those guys. He's down the court in like 3 or 4 steps, right? It's like, holy crap. To your point, the only time I really see him playing defense is when he's playing catch-up and he blocks somebody from behind.
But, we can debate about LeBron, Michael, but you think about a lot of the stuff that is said about LeBron and Michael, it's coming from the press. I mean, a lot of it's not coming from the players, and people think, well, they're the ones saying it. No, they're not. The press will jump on you. You know how it goes. They'll build you up, and they'll burn you down.
Oh, as fast as they can. I mean, look at the conspiracy theorists that came out when Jordan's dad got killed. I mean, tying it to gambling debts, and then this whole thing that David Stern let him retire instead of, just crazy stuff. So no, totally agree. You throw a little bit of information out there, and people will run with it for sure.
I mean, that's the whole thing. That's the thing about society today is they like you for the now, and then tomorrow they might hate you.
Yeah, it's funny though because America as a whole, we love underdogs. We love to build up those stories, and we love to celebrate them. But once you get to that certain level, now we're going to turn you into the bad guy.
Right. So he was saying how they tear you down. My coach, Ohio State, they lost to that team again. But after they lost that game, they read Ryan Hiniel. Man, I was reading he needs to be fired. Ryan Day needs to go. Now they rolling again. Oh, yeah, he's good. Ryan Day, dude, think about something. His record, he's won, if you count the playoffs, all this stuff, Ryan Day has won over 70 games, bro. And he's only lost 11.
It's insane.
And they said, well, he needs, okay, my next thing is, and let me ask you, who would you replace him with? Who out there would you replace him with?
Right.
Because you can say, well, I want another coach. Well, who's out there? So people always say that, and even NBA, baseball, MLB, they always want to fire the coach. Why not fire some of these lazy players?
Oh, yeah.
Because you think about something. The coach ain't making no tackles. The coach is only giving you the plays to do. It's up to you to execute, but it's always any sport.
Especially at the professional level, though, for sure. I mean, for you to be a top, just give NBA the example of like a Steve Kerr. I mean, you're dealing with a lot of personalities, a lot of very wealthy individuals who, at the end of the day, they can kind of do what they want, right? All you can do is kind of guide them, try to set them up for success, and somehow motivate them to want to give their all, right? In a larger team sport like football, especially with so many different moving pieces, I mean, you're not going to be able to execute across all things all the time either.
And, that's like I said, hold the players accountable. I'm saying it was something my father-in-law told me. What he said was, play the players at the end of the season and see how well they played in. Because
Right.
they're playing for their money. They don't already have it. See how their performance is at the end of the year. Because when you give them all that money up front, and then if they go to their first contract, get another contract, some of them, it's like they quit.
Dude, these signing bonuses? Are you kidding me? I mean, that's one of the reasons why they had to change the rules for those rookies coming in the NFL. Is like, yeah, you're dumping $100 million in these guys in the last season or two. And they're gone.
Remember, what's his name? It came from DeMarcus Russell.
Oh, dude.
It came from LSU.
Yeah.
They gave him all that money, bro.
Oh, and what's he doing now?
I don't know, but he came out they gave him ridiculous contract.
Stupid money.
And what he last like a year, maybe two.
Not very long, that's for sure.
And so
And I remember him because he beat my Sun Devils when I was there.
right.
Worst game to lose. We had a chance of getting into a big bowl game, I believe. And this jackass, it's like 3rd and 35 or some nonsense. He throws a touchdown on us. Just
So
hell of an arm, though.
so what do you think? I was hearing this too about the so now they're having a debate. I'm gonna tell you something on the transfer portal. I hate it. I don't like it, bro. I mean, I think what they're trying to do now is more reasonable. You give them one shot because you got kids. They you got guys transferring. One guy reading about he's transferring for the 3rd time.
So here's why I do like it, because kids, they get screwed because the coach would come in there, make all these promises, recruit you, say, here's what I'm going to – and then they suddenly take a job into the NFL or they go somewhere else, and now the kid's stuck with like, wait, that I came for the coach, right? Sure, you're coming for the program, but most of these big programs have coaches that are well-established and around a long time, right? So from that perspective, I appreciate the fact that the kids aren't screwed, right? I think with the NIL as well, it's, to your point, creates a different dynamic of, okay, well, I didn't maximize my value with this team this year. Even if I think I played well, the money's not coming to me. So let me try to jump over here because maybe this kid's making money or he made a bunch of money this year using his image or whatever it is. So, yeah, to your point, I feel like kids are chasing money instead of, best fit, best team, best coach.
If you're going to pay them, take away the scholarships. Okay, if they get the NIL money, what do they need scholarships for? Because, I'm looking at Tennessee. They quarterback at $6.8 million.
Jeez.
This guy they got coming into Michigan next year, dude, they're paying him like 10.6. They ain't played a college snap yet. But I'm saying they have no incentive to play because, number one, they're already getting rich in college. They don't have to go to the NFL. They can retire after college.
Yeah.
I mean, the best story that I heard was the story that, what's his name, from Colorado, won the Heisman.
Yeah.
What he did with his
Hunter,
team.
yeah.
What he did for his team. When he went, he paid he gave the offensive lineman all of the NIL money. And then when he went for the Heisman presentation, he paid for all of them out of his own pocket to go to fly to New York to watch. Now that's a young man who knows the meaning of, hey, you know what? You may not be getting what I'm getting, but I'm gonna help you out.
And to your point, though, there's probably very few kids that have the right circumstance, the right mentor, and the right mindset to even be like that, right? Because, you think about a lot of these kids. They're coming from small towns across America. Maybe they're coming from poverty, whatever it is, and they suddenly have this opportunity to get a big paycheck.
Right.
Yeah, they don't know. First of all, they probably don't know how to handle the money. They don't know how to handle the people around them when they have money. So I would say absolutely, that is a rare case for somebody like him at his age to have that kind of maturity. But it probably does speak a lot to also Dion being that guy for him the last couple of years.
But he's also he's not just football. He had a 4.0 GPA. So it's not all about football. It's like, hey, you know what? He got the brains and he's making this.
Such a huge thing.
Yes.
No matter how good you are, you just still got to have the grades.
Mm-hmm.
I think that has shifted the last decade or so. I feel like it has at least. Because obviously when I was in college, I saw the athletes. You saw what what classes they were in, and they could kind of do whatever they wanted. They had all the special tutors that really tutored them, but they weren't really talking about class.
Right.
Yeah, I think now it is a little bit more important because these professional teams are seeing what characters were coming into the league. And it's not what they wanted, right? They didn't want these people who were having assault charges or murder charges or all this crazy nonsense.
And that's one thing that I'll say this. One of these guys going to learn. I mean, they keep telling you, okay, we're domestic violence, all this stuff, drug charges, NFL. When, if you ain't learned from previous guys and they still keep doing, to me, I call it the same bonehead stuff over and over and over again. When you're a well worked out machine and then you have a bad game and you go home and take it out on your family. Or you go out and get in a fight in a bar with somebody who's, ain't even up to your caliber. But then it's like they're not using their head, man. And you think if we were in that position, number one, the mentality is different. I know mine is. Like I said, I wouldn't. Number one, that's the thing that I would never do. I mean, I love my wife. Not gonna put my hands on her.
Not just that, but your point, just they seem like very simple decisions to make, right? And it's not just athletes; it's any of these celebrities who have tons of money and they still choose to get a DUI. Mm-hmm. Like, come on, man! Like, really?
Yeah, you can.
An Uber's $30. Like, what is that?
All the time.
It's crazy. It's
nonstop.
Weekend.
Every weekend. Oh, I saw hit a tree. Really? Why? I mean, like you said, to your point, good point. Just like what you said, hey, you have all the money you need.
Yeah.
And you can hire many Ubers or Lyfts or limos or whatever you want to do. Pick up the phone. Oh, if you got your friends, the real friends or your agent, have them call you somebody.
Well, and you probably know this just because your cousin and stuff, but NFL, I mean, they make these rookies go through a lot, and they provide a lot of resources. Because it's a huge investment, right? So you got to make sure you're trying to set these people up for success as much as you can, but they can call somebody any hour of the day, anytime they want, for really whatever help they need, right? Even if it's just some kind of guidance of like, hey, here's what I'm thinking, and they can talk them out of it, but they choose not to. It's
I'm
crazy.
saying if it was like, man, I'm saying if it was me, bro, I'd have a Uber driver on speed dial.
Oh,
hey, you know what? I'm going out so and so. I'm going to this club right here. I'll call you when I'm ready. I mean,
all these guys come with entourages. Like, make one of your dudes a driver.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, like, come on.
Hey, look here, bro. You ain't drinking tonight.
Yeah.
You're going to stay sober.
You're gonna drive this $400,000 car I just bought.
Taking me home.
That's your gift, kind of, right? You get to hang out with me. You get to go to the club.
But that's the thing. One thing I will say is, you see these guys, if you have true friends, make them the best part of your circle. Because you see, like you said, entourage. You see these guys, they're 10, 15 people. They may only know 6 of them.
Yeah.
Oh, they just here with the rest of the guys. But, as they say, when the money's gone, they gone.
Oh, absolutely.
And something happened, they ain't got your back.
Yeah.
Because somebody come, well, no, I wasn't. You may say one thing, and they come back and say something totally, no, I wasn't there. Oh, your story's gone.
No, for sure, dude. So I'll digress. We did go down a bit of a rabbit hole, which I do like because I think this is where the conversation can get kind of more interesting and just kind of a free-for-all. But let's circle back real quick just to make sure our listeners are very clear on who the GOAT really is, which is obviously
Michael Jordan.
Michael Jordan. Because, of course.
If I say like this, if you had a chance to see Jordan, then I know you saw Kobe. I got a chance to see Kobe in person, Jordan in person, and LeBron, of course. So all I say is we can have our opinions, but as you say, who's ever listening, you can have yours too. And so your opinion might not be the same as ours, but who you think your GOAT is might not be who ours is. No doubt. And it will be one of those things that will just forever be a conversation point for people to debate. Hey, so before we wrap up this first episode, I would love to give you some airtime to celebrate your Ohio State Buckeyes. Hell of a game. You can correct me if I have any of these facts wrong, but the
the lineman who sacked your lineman who sacked their quarterback at the end there at the strip fumble touchdown. They used to be roommates before they Okay,
Exactly.
talk to me a little bit about that, because just how would you deal with that on both ends of it?
Well, if I was sacking my roommate,
they're obviously still good friends, I
yeah,
assume.
but it's he said they were, because he said at the end of the game he got a chance to talk to him.
Yeah.
And said he said he told him that you're an asshole, but they got a kick out of it. But thing of it is, I'm looking at how they're playing now. Like I said, when they lost the game against Michigan, everybody was like, they're not as good as we thought they were. And like I said, it helped them get their focus back. And honestly, the way they're playing right now, I think the only team that can beat them is they beat themselves, because Notre Dame, they struggled against Penn State. Ohio State beat Penn State. So Notre Dame has never beaten Ohio State. So thing of it is, we're going to see. And I think Ohio State come in clicking, they'll blow them out, bro.
I'd be shocked if you guys don't take it. You guys look so solid.
With them, it's like they play, but it's like they get bored. They get a big lead. It's like okay, well, I mean, think about it. When they played Texas, the only person that really stopped them for what was them penalties.
Yeah.
They stopped themselves. So you think about, look what they did Oregon, Rose Bowl. That was one I loved it because I was there to see it.
Yeah, and Oregon, I mean, I don't know what the spread was, but they were definitely not a huge underdog by any stretch of the imagination. For you guys to put them down that significantly, I was
Oregon
impressed.
I think they were 5.5 points.
Yeah.
Ohio State had 34 points at halftime.
Yeah, insane. I mean, shoot, Arizona was like a 14-point underdog, I think, and we technically probably should have won that game.
I was hoping they would have beat Texas.
Oh my gosh, that would have been huge. My wife's not a college football fan either, but because she's from Texas, and I'm a Sun Devil. It was a fun game to watch in the house.
So why you don't have a college team?
I mean, the Sun Devils are, but it's the Sun Devils, so they have like a good team every 20 years. So I'm not a huge college football guy. And again, I'm not from Arizona, but been here most of my life. College football isn't a thing here, right?
No, not really.
I mean, there's a reason why they kept showing Jake Plummer on the sideline, because he. I mean, come on, look how long it's been since we had.
So real quick, I will tell you a quick story. So my wife, she graduated from University of Wyoming, and so I got a chance to go back to see them play. And so what blew me away was, dude, they lost, and everybody's all happy and everything. And I asked my wife, I said, why are they laughing? They're all happy. She said, because we're used to losing. That blew me away. I'm like, Ohio State lose one game and the fans are ready to burn the stadium down.
Seriously. That's my point, though. You just have teams like that. Ohio State, Bama, Texas. I mean, you just have these long traditions of schools that just are known for football. ASU's not them. Right. So, we beat U of A every year. I'm happy. This year was a hell of a surprise for everybody, especially with all the turmoil with, the coaches leaving and the controversy behind what was happening with Pierce and all that crazy stuff. For them to be projected to be last in the Big 12 and to just have a hell of a season was awesome.
And they're raking in players right now.
I bet.
Through the portal, they got players coming through the portal already, bro.
It's a great place to go to college too, mind you.
It is called Party U. So,
so let's end on this. We got a big championship game coming up, so let's go Buckeyes. Let's see them take it home. Let's go real fast into these NFL playoffs because we love football. So, any surprises for you so far in the wild card games?
Actually, you know what? I picked all of them, all the ones that won.
Yeah.
Except for Tampa Bay. They let me down.
Okay. I expected them, especially after the last game with Mayfield just tearing it up. I thought he was going to play a lot better.
I figured they would beat them. But, so, my prediction, I'll give you I'll say, I've said this from the beginning, Detroit and Kansas City.
I'm going to do everything in my power in terms of rooting for Buffalo to get to the Super Bowl. I cannot stand Kansas City. I agree. I think that the Lions, especially after the Niners put them down last year after their huge run, to see them come back again this year. I hope the Lions do get there and win. I am going to hope for an NFC team to win it, actually. But I'd love to see Buffalo in it. I think, I love Josh Allen. I love watching him play. He's a, awesome player. They look great this weekend, but freaking Kansas City, man.
Yeah, but the thing of it is, they have to go through Kansas City.
They do, but look what they did against the third-ranked defense in Denver. I mean, they just annihilated them, and they ran all over them.
I'm gonna say one player, Mahomes.
Okay, so here's what's funny about Mahomes
That's the boogeyman.
he is, because he's statistically he hasn't had a good season the last couple seasons,
Right.
and this freaking jackass keeps winning, man. Like, what the hell?
I'm saying that's why you call him the boogeyman, dude. Like most teams they want to play anybody but Kansas City because Mahomes, you think you got him, and you don't.
No, not at all. I will say this, though, because it's funny you brought it up earlier about just tearing people down. And the entire season, we've heard about the Vikings and this amazing run they're on. And, yeah, I'm sure there's some criticism along the way with Sam Darnold, but nothing significant because they're winning and he's putting up numbers and Jefferson's having a good season. All I saw the next morning was how horrible Darnold was, how he looked like the Statue of Liberty. I mean, granted, he got sacked 9 times. I get it. But, I mean, to the point where they're saying he looked scared and shook and just terrified to be out there. I'm like, I don't know about all that. But to your point, man, one bad game and here come the haters. They're going to tear you down.
You're gone. I mean, even the coach said it. I was watching the press conference. He said, well, it was a good year while it lasted with Sam. So, basically, I guess he's pretty much saying that we're done with him.
Which is weird because they've got like a revolving door at quarterback there.
Well, they got the rookie, McCarthy.
We'll see how that goes. I mean, we'll see how rookies go.
Right.
Real fast, MVP for the season. Who you got?
Lamar Jackson.
You still got him?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think statistically, I think he outperforms Josh Allen just a little bit. I think his QBR was a little bit better. Obviously, he had more touchdowns. Wins-wise, they're pretty much close to the same. Weapons-wise, I mean, Derrick Henry's a beast. You add him to your team.
That's a monster.
And you're going to have a hell of a opportunity to put up
that
numbers.
was teams that had a chance to pick up Derrick Henry, but the Cowboys could have got him.
God, don't even get me started on the Cowboys.
And I will say this right here, because we're both Niners fans. I don't know McCaffrey. I don't know, bro. I think he's worn out. To be honest with you, I'm a San Francisco fan.
Yeah,
love the Niners, and I just think that his body is beat up, bro.
Yeah, it's tough. Somebody that dynamic. They're putting so much strain on all the little parts of their body too, because he's doing all these cuts and he's just so quick and he's doing all these things. And yeah, if he has a healthy offseason, does all his things, and comes back healthy, then yeah, we got a good chance. But if he gets injured one more time, the dude's just got to retire.
More than likely, they're probably done with Dre Greenlaw. What does that mean?
That was a sad one too, man. He was like the heart of the defense. Him and Warner are just beasts together, and even the coach said it. He's like, I think almost everybody said when he got injured in the Super Bowl, that was it. Like, just the whole team just kind of went. The whole game went south from there. And what a weird ass injury, dude. I mean, how does that happen?
No, you're talking about freak injuries. I don't know if it's a freak, but do you hear that Deshaun Watson tore his Achilles again?
No.
Yes.
Doing what? Getting another massage? Sorry, had to go there.
I guess working out. Tore his Achilles again, bro. They just restructured his contract.
Yeah, paid him tons of money.
Well, I guess they're gonna have to restructure it again. I mean, bro, he's gonna miss the whole season. So now who are they gonna get?
That's crazy. I mean, I'm sure Cam Newton's still waiting for somebody to call him up.
Maybe wear one of them wild hats out there.
That dude in his hats. I'll give him credit. He sticks with it.
I'm a competitive person, but when I'm watching sports, bro, I mean, if my team lose, I'm not one of these ones you're gonna see toss your TV out the window or, gonna
smash it.
Yes, burn your remote up or something like that. I mean, yeah, my team lost, but I'm like this. I'm a fan.
Yeah.
I'm a fan first, not a player, and I ain't gonna be going there and be screaming at my wife, "Oh, my team lost!" So, and then you're an idiot.
Here's where I'm at from a fan perspective. If we lose fair and square, it is what it is. We got beat. Where I have a problem, and it'll simmer in me for a couple days, is if we get screwed on a call, or if we, like 2 years ago, our entire team gets hurt, we don't have a quarterback. Like,
Right.
I mean, I didn't simmer on that. I was just so dumbfounded that even happened. Like, how does it even happen?
Right.
But yeah, to your point, there's always next season.
So I know we're about to shut it down for this time. I'm gonna give you a tidbit they put out the other day. In this whole playoff, dude, do you know how many times a team has been called for holding against Ohio State's defensive lineman?
How many?
0.
Oh, so they're like the Chiefs.
Yes.
Okay.
All the teams they play, and you can see pictures of blatant. They got the last game when they played Texas, dude. He's got Jack Sawyer in a chokehold, and the ref is like right there. I'm like, what game are you watching? Because you ain't watching this game. And that was the stat. They put this stat out the other day.
That's crazy.
No flags.
So, perfect example. I get it. Vikings pretty much crap the bed from the quarterback perspective. Lots of sacks. But that BS call with that forward pass not being a fumble?
Yeah, that was the fumble.
Like, come on, guys. I mean,
People were talking about that too. So how Minnesota got screwed out of that game.
yeah. I mean, that could have changed a lot.
That was
So-
it's the same way when the Texas Ohio State game, when he went down, and they reviewed it, said it wasn't. They said no, he was down. No, he wasn't. They went back the next day, bro, and said it was a fumble because Texas, that play kept the drive alive, and they ended up scoring a touchdown. So and that's something else that I hate. Why come out the next day and say, well, we didn't get this call, or NBA, we missed.
Yeah.
Who wants to hear it about the next? It's not going to go back and change. It's not
No.
going to change the outcome of the game. I mean, yeah, that's a report that they have to do, but the thing of it is, that just, to me, the team that lost, they just put more salt in their wound.
Oh, absolutely.
Why you
like,
tell
see, we
us-
told you. See, we knew it. We were right then. It's funny because I think what you just did is you just created a topic for another episode.
That's it?
We could talk about referees. We could talk about replays. We could talk about all those things. I mean, they even have it in tennis now, which I think makes sense, especially with something that fast, that minute of a
Right.
margin of error, being able to say, hey, no, I think you're wrong.
I have a question. You ever been to a hockey game?
I have, yeah.
I have not.
You've never been to a hockey game?
I've been to, dude.
What?
I've been to NASCAR, rodeo, stuff like that. I've been to all kinds of other sporting events. I've never ever been. I've been, dude. I've even been to Super Bowl, been to World Series games. Never been to a hockey game. ever.
Wow, that is shocking.
And the only hockey team here now is they have one in Tucson.
Yeah.
So I told myself, I'm about to take a trip to go see them.
Yeah, I went to a few Coyote games back in the day. My friend invited me, so I went with like him and his dad. They had a box and then they had seats. And what was crazy is the game I went to, they hit the puck up into the box
Right.
that I was going to be in, but then I took the seats because I thought the seats were better. I'm like, oh, that would have been awesome. But,
Right.
dude, it's an experience. The fights are obviously a lot of fun.
I heard the closer you get, the colder it gets.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's been years since I've gone, but I was shocked how cold it actually was. I don't think I've ever been for like a hat trick or anything like that, so I didn't get to see any hats thrown out. The squids thing is hysterical.
Oh, yeah.
That'd be a funny game to be at. But I can't believe you've never been to a hockey game.
I haven't, man. I mean,
Wow,
it's just-
there's a bucket list right there.
I mean,
Add
yeah,
it.
that'd be a bucket list, but they don't have a team here anymore, so they moved to
Vegas is right down the street,
That's true. But
and they love that team.
the hockey team here, they moved to Utah.
Yeah, well, I mean, it makes more sense to have a hockey team in Utah versus Arizona, but hey, it's all right.
Well, they have hockey teams in Florida.
They do, and they actually are good
And
teams
they're
too.
good teams. That's what I'm saying, bro. They got teams that are good, but
Yeah, you can make any hockey team good indoors.
it's how much you want. It's the money. It's all about.
Oh,
who
it's
you,
all
it's
it's
all
about.
anything you do
Yep.
today and time, sports wise.
I mean, have they finalized the A's going to Vegas yet?
They said that they're gonna be playing somewhere. They're no longer in Oakland.
Yeah.
They did their farewell.
Right.
So they're gonna be somewhere over there. Also, they got a lot of. Have you been to spring training? You go to spring training?
Yeah, I used to go a lot as a kid. My wife just took the kids last year. We had a good time.
So my thing is, what I want to do is, I was telling my wife, I want to go, regardless if it's my team or not, I would like to go, because since they have so many spring training games here in Arizona, I would like to go to a game in each stadium just to check it out.
Oh, yeah. Then the new ones are nice.
Yeah.
We went to
You been to the Cubs?
Talking Stick. I haven't been to Cubs yet. I want to do the Cubs one a lot because it's pretty sick.
Last year when they played the Giants, it's nice.
Yeah. I've met people from Chicago that fly out every year just for that experience.
Right.
But all right, and that is a wrap on the first episode of Shots from the Foul Line podcast. Thanks for joining Vic and I. We had a wonderful time discussing several things about sports, but specifically who is the true GOAT of the NBA. And on that note, we'll leave you with this.
Jazz over the foul limit. We're down to 5. Jordan putting moves on Russell. We're down to 2.